Hello everyone, and welcome of course to CAD 200, and this is the first project that we're getting into, and a lot of you folks already have this under your belt, and this is going to be creating a template. Now, you did this work in CAD 100 because it's a prerequisite for CAD 200, so you probably already got some templates. And if you'll notice, as I come down through here, I've already got an architectural template set up for you, and also I got the civil template already set up for you. So those are already good and ready to go. But I'm wanting you to send me your mechanical template. And like I said, if you've got one from CAD 100, I want you to take and submit that to me. Send that to me, let me look it over and make sure everything looks okay on it for you to use in CAD 200, and we'll just use it. There's no sense of reinventing the wheel. You can also, if you have one already ready, you might want to go in and do a little bit of revisions on it. That's fine too. Then again, you might have took CAD 100 with another college that you might not have got into templates. So if you haven't used a template or you haven't created a template, I want to show you here how to go about creating a simple mechanical template. And in this, you're going to set up an A size paper and a B size paper, and we're going to follow some ANSI standards as we do this, okay? So the first thing I want to do is we're going to set up a mechanical template. We're going to have a limits of 50 inches by 50 inches. We're going to do some setup of text and setup of dimensioning and multi-leaders and text, and of course set up our layouts, and we'll have it ready to go. So I'll show you how to do that. First step I want to do here is open up AutoCAD, and I always like to go File New and use my wizard. If you don't have the wizard, if you just type in Startup and hit Enter, you should have a number 1. You all see my cursor right there? It should be number 1. If it's 0, 2, or 3, it will not work. You got to be number 1. And when you do that and hit File New, it brings up your wizard. And right here, I can just start an advanced setup and hit OK on that. And when you're doing a mechanical drawing, you're going to use the decimal format. And you can see here you got engineering, you got architectural, fractional, scientific, but we're using the decimal for our mechanical, so that's what I want you to do. Decimal degrees, this is fine right now. I'm just going through this. I just leave this defaulted at east, going counterclockwise. It follows the quadrants. And of course, this right here was supposed to be 50 inches by 50 inches for our limits. We're ready. Now, I'd like to go back and take a look. So we got the limits done. We've got all this good stuff. So let's go ahead and set up our text real quick. Looks like we're going to have an 1/8 inch title box and note text. Okay. So I'm just going to take that and throw it over there. Bring my AutoCAD up right here, and I want to take and I'll sling it over here for the time being. Just like that, and just might have to work with it a little bit. So this kind of lets me see what I need to do. It's great if you have 2 screens. A lot of companies, they'll use double screens or even triple screens when you have a whole lot of information that you're using. That way you can work back and forth a lot more efficient. But for us, this is fine. All right, so we've got that. So we're going to set up our text. And right here in Annotate, go to Annotate. And when you're inside of the text box right here, this little diagonal is called your text style. If you click on that, you can come in here and begin setting that up. Now, what I want to do is I want to hit New, and I'll call this first one the new. I'll just put in, and you can't put the fractional in here because it won't take. So an 1/8 is 0.125 inch, and I'll put title box text. It's perfect. And then it doesn't like these little characters, so I've got to go in here and get rid of that inch off there. And when I do that, I want to make sure that when I'm working this, this right here is my new style. I want to make sure it's annotative. It looks like that little Mitsubishi looking symbol, right? That's your annotative. I want to make sure that's on there, and also for this one it wants Times New Roman or Arial font, so I'll change it right here. So either one that you want to use, just keep them consistent. There's Times New Roman. And also, it's very important that you have your paper size, 0.125. Apply. So this one is set up and it's ready. So now if I close it, do you see now you've got that text style added? All right, let's go ahead and we had another one I think here, a 1/4 inch title box text. All right, we'll use that. So again, just new. And this one, of course, will be 0.25 title box. So it's just really using the same information, Times New Roman, but it's going up to a 1/4 inch, apply, and it's saved there. So we've got now our text saved, and that's all we're going to do, just the two different styles. The main thing is make sure they're annotative and you've got the size exactly what you want. Now let's go on to the dimensions and style and modifying using dimensional units. Okay, dimension style. So right here is, and of course where I've got this condensed, it's kind of made it a little smaller and you don't see the whole box like you did here. But if you hit this down, you can get to it, and of course here's your dimension style. Inside here, I'm going to set up, they're telling me to use the annotative that's already here. That's fine. Let's just use annotative, or we could have made a new one. It doesn't matter. If I hit a new one, I'll type in mechanical. So you can just edit the annotative that's there, or you can use, or make yourself a new one, mechanical design. And I hit continue on, make sure annotative's on when you make a new one. And when I get in here, the first thing that I want to do is go to my text. And of course, this is what your dimensions are going to look like. If you ever want to change anything, it'd be in symbols and arrows, okay? You know, if you want to do architectural ticks, see how it changes? I would rather just have the closed field arrows for mechanical. It also, arrow size, dimensional breaks, center marks. It's got all these good things in here. So I go to next to my text, and you remember my text styles. I want to go in here and I want the 1/8 inch, 0.125 title box text will work perfect with that. Looks good. Your text alignment, now see horizontally, it just follows it like that. It stays horizontal on your screen. But if you align with dimension, it follows the dimension. You know, it's however that you desire. You know, whatever the print calls for. And the main thing is change it right here, and it's got 1/8 of an inch. Don't worry about your fit. We're good on that. Primary units is decimal. And then how precise do you want the measurements to be on your drawing? This is 10/1000ths of an inch it goes to. You might want thousandths, you might want hundredths, you know. It's up to you in the drawing what'll dictate your precision on this. So that's the only thing I'm doing right now for that, so we're good. So we got that, and we'll close it. And another thing is you might want to set some current, some of this stuff current. So like 0.25. When you're in here, that way whenever you go to draw, it'll actually come up. So when I come in here at 0.25, I'll set it current for my text. It's a good idea to do. Your dimensionings as well. You want to set that current, close. Now here's your center lines, and then we got one more thing that we want to fix here is our multi-leaders. And if you do here, just click on this. New, make sure you're doing annotative, and I'll call this mechanical. Okay, all that looks good. I do need to do one thing is content. I do need to change this text styles to 0.125. Leader structure. I like all this. It looks great. So hit OK on that. I want to set that current. I want to use that whenever I do go in there to click it. And so far, that's all we're going to do a part of that. Now, that's great. Now, the next thing that we've got to do is we're going to set up some sheets, an A and B size paper, and we've got different formats. Oh, and two, before we start doing that, we need to set up our layers. So let's go in there in layers. If you'll notice right here is the layers I want you to use. You guys should know how to use layers, but again, there's your layers, layer properties, and you want to come in here and hit new and do construction. Construction layer and come across, and then you can, it gives you the color, but you can set these however that you'd like. Line type on this one is going to be continuous, and line weight is default on this one. So again, just go down there and get every one of those. The next one, let's say we want to do, just a hidden line. I'm not going to do all of them just sake of time, but a hidden line, I'm going to go just a shade lighter than the dark black. And it's right here. It's not a continuous line, but what I do is come down through here and find the hidden. Right here it is. Click on it. OK. Make sure you click on that, and you should see it come up as hidden. The line weight on the hidden line is 0.3 millimeters, so you slide down till you find it. Okay. So again, go down through here and get every one of these loaded in here and make your layers. But two, make sure as far as your colors, I don't mind what colors you guys use, because I know some of these things like let's see, some colors like the cayenne, it's a really, really light blue. And that's what we were doing here, hidden. You cannot see that on a drawing. So use like I did. I didn't go with the darker black. I went with a couple shades lighter. But like some colors you just can't see very well with a whenever you print it out on a white sheet of paper. Especially the cayenne does that. So again, just be aware of that when you're coming through here. I don't care what colors, but try to keep your object lines, even though it's saying blue, try to keep those black. Also your title block, try to keep those black as well. All right. So go through there and get all those loaded up. And then we'll start on our sheets. So I go down here and you got model, you got layout. Here's the viewport. And I can leave that in, or I can put another one in later. It doesn't matter to me. But I want to go ahead and we're going to put our title box and borders in. And before I do anything else, I need to go back to layers. And I need to make myself a title, a border layer for my title block. Okay. It's black, line type's continuous, line weight is, most of the time the title block is pretty heavy. They've got 1.2, which is fine. It's going to be the widest line weight that you see. That one's good. I want to make it current by clicking on it right here because I want to use it over here. So I'm at this point, and I want to make this title block, and I want to make it look like this. It's hard to see that. But we're going to make a title block going around this thing, and it tells you specifics, but I would recommend a 1/2 inch on this A size paper. 1/2 inch border around it, because sometimes when you go the requirement like at 3/8, sometimes it doesn't plot right. It'll plot and not have all your title block on there. It just doesn't look good. So we're just going to stick with a 1/2 inch offset around the outside edges, the perimeter of your paper. To do that, it's real simple. I got to go up here and grab this rectangle, and we'll do that. But before, how do I know this is a size paper, which is 8.5 by 11? What I do, there's different ways of doing it. I always just right-click on layout. Right-click on your mouse button and come in here to Page Setup Manager. And inside there, I can come in and what I want you guys to use, because a lot of you are probably using this at your home. You don't have a plotter or printer set up. If you do, fine, use it. But what I want to do is just go to Drawing to PDF right now. And that way I can get all of my different size papers. So you got ANSI, A size. Let's see here. Here's ANSI-A. So I click on there. 8.5 by 11 is perfect. Leave everything else alone. It should be already defaulted and set up, so yours should look just like mine. And hit OK. Close. And again, I like to go in there and just make sure 8.5 by 11. That looks great. So we have got that in there. It's all looking good. And what I want to do is go ahead and just do a rectangle here. And I like to I'm just eyeballing in, catching that corner there. I'm coming up, hit at, because we don't know if that's 0, 0 or not. And I want to hit 11 for X, comma 8.5. Perfect. Offset is 1/2 inch. And then right there it is. You see how I've got that. Here's your line weight button. You can turn it on just to make sure you got the right layer that you're using. And looking good. And then next thing is we've got to put our little, down here at the bottom, put our little title box in. And if you'll notice up here, it told us to use Form 6. Form 6 for the title block. So I come down and I got to find Form 6. And right here it is. Let me blow that up a little bit so we can see it. Alright, so you have all the dimensions on there. And what I'd recommend is it's 5.25, 2.19, so grab this, again, hit there, at, and if I'm using these relative movements, I'm going negative 5.25, comma 2.19, and then you can go in there, and again, just dimension all this out. This is, a polylines all together, so all I have to do is just explode it. And then I can just do some offsets and 0.38 from the bottom line there. Come up through there, then offset 0.44. And I missed a 3/8. You got the point of it. And then we had the offset of the 0.44. So, of course, and then there's some, you're dividing some of these things. Just get those accurately put in there. And then put your text in. And I'm not going to go through all that. I'll let you guys put that in. But now let's go ahead and put some text into this thing. So, multi-line, single line, either way you want to use it. You can do single line text. And I just got to make sure my layers on that. I didn't make a layer for that. I was going to use the 0, but you'll have layers set up for it. I go in here and again, let's use the single line text is fine. Turn off my object snap down there so it don't snap to everything. And whatever, and I put ortho on, just keep it straight there. But for this college, Big Sandy, CTC, and what I'm using there, I'll click. You can even go and get an image and stick in there too if you wanted to. Click on that, right click, go to properties, and just I want to look and see what layer or what type of text. So use the 0.25 title box text on that one. And then like down here, let's say for instance, one of those boxes here, you have like, you got sheet, it tells you what sheet to use. When I go in there again to do that one, annotate, find your text. I go from there to there, and of course inside of that annotative box, well, it's not going to let me do it here, but I want to use 0.125. So now I can do that, and when I come down here, and I can change it in properties too after the fact. I can do like scale, whatever the form tells you to do, 1 to 1, whatever that is. Y'all see what I'm saying? And then you can grab it, get your grip, and then turn off your ortho and snap and move it however you want. So again, get all this information in there, and don't worry about the revision block on size A, but when we come over here to do the B size, and again right here, let's go ahead and just click on it, right click, rename. I'm going to call that A size just so I know what that is, okay? Make it a little easy. Next one here, it's going to be B size. And I just want to go ahead and rename it while I'm into it. But how do I know it's B size? Looks like A to me. I'm sure it is. So just right click, Page Setup Manager, modify, and again, just go down to drawing to PDF. Looks great. And then just go to ANSIB. Sometimes it's not easy to see these. So I'm going to use the 17 by 11 because I'm using the landscape format. You can use the other and set it to landscape. Sometimes in the past it has given me problems, so I always just put the exact number in. So there's my B size. So I come up here, rectangle, and I zoom in. I click there. I just eyeball it, and again at 17,11, enter, and I do an offset of 1/2 of an inch. And then all you have to do on this one, folks, you got that set up. And I'm going to click on it too and make sure what kind of layer that I'm using. You can look at it's on 0. Go to border. You can adjust that, or you can go to properties. But now, just to keep from reinventing the wheel, A size, after you got this, all the title block all the way done, just come here and grab it. Do a Control C. Come over to B size, do a Control V. And then do a move. And then just take and drag and drop. And also on this one, I do want you to put the revision block. Just put it up here in the corner. Or actually, I think it's a parts list is what they were wanting you to do. So do the parts list and put a parts list. Just do a couple of lines here, a couple of rows. You don't have to do all of them up through there. Just do maybe 2 or 3 and put it up here because you can always add more if you need that. So that's just a real quick template, and all you have to do is just go File, Save As, and just make sure when you save it as a DWT. A lot of people miss that. Very important that you do that, and I would call this one mechanical. Save it as something that you remember, and make sure that you know where you put it at, guys. Make you a folder somewhere and save it. So again, if you guys have any questions, you'll have the architectural and the civil templates already completed. I just want you to send me your mechanical template. Once you get it finished, let me look over it, and I'll let you know how that looks. If you have any questions, just let me know.